All right, today we got a attachment that goes on the back of a tractor. It's a PTO attachment. The model is a Mustang 7117 Verti Drain Aerator. The operator says that the PTO on the tractor was spinning, but the aerator tines were not going up and down. So immediately my first guess is that a gear had gone bad inside of the Verti Drain gearbox. I've never worked on one of these machines before, so it's just going to be a case of ripping the gearbox apart and seeing what kind of metal falls out. But it definitely sounds like that's probably what it is, unless there was something obvious where there was a log or something jammed in the tine somewhere to prevent it from going up and down. But I would think somebody would have seen that, and I'm not going to be that lucky to have something that simple. The cost of the gearbox can run you on the upside of $1,200 or more, maybe cheaper, maybe a couple $100 cheaper or less, but they're not cheap. So hopefully we can figure it out for them so that it's a simple repair, maybe cost them $200-300 rather than $1,200, and get them going again. So let's go take a look at what we got and see if we can fix it for them. All right, this is a Verti Drain 7117 Mustang PTO attachment aerator, and the problem is the PTO is it's spinning on the tractor, but it's not spinning on this end. The tines aren't going up and down. Never worked on one of these, but I'm going to assume that it's in the gearbox somewhere here. Something either gave way or broke or whatever, but this is the unit, and couldn't find any videos on YouTube about it. We had to take these top covers off as far as we got right now, removing the top covers so we can get to that gearbox there, and there's an inspection cover right there. All right, so we got to take off these two bars here because they're in the way of those nuts under there, as you see. So we're gonna need to hold back, try that. All right. You want to take it all the way off, or you want?
It's better if it's all the way off.
Okay.
Watch I don't drop on you.
All right. And we'll just slide that off
I'm gonna
there
put
like
that
that.
right back in there so we don't.
Should we label these left side, right side?
Yeah.
So when you take these off, just kind of put your own little notes here so that you know that you put these back on the right side they're supposed to go. All right. We'll do this next one. All right, you can see now we have this inspection cover here. It's exposed and we're able to get to the bolts. So hopefully that'll show us what's going on when we lift that. We don't have to dig any further. Again, I've never been inside of one of these before, so we may find nothing. And then we would have to drop this entire assembly down, which includes dismantling these first couple tines here to get that shaft out, and I really don't want to get in that deep, but let's get these off and see what's underneath. All right, so the first thing that we're gonna do is take out this drain bolt here. We're gonna drain some fluid out before we go removing any of these covers so we don't have a mess on the floor. So just get yourself a little pan. You can see we have ours kind of just wedged in there, and we're gonna crack that bolt and get that fluid out of there. There's nothing coming out of there.
Well, it is sitting upright.
Yeah, but you would think, I mean, your gauge is all the way up here. So you would think that if it were to be filled this high, there still should be something coming out of there. We're bone dry.
We may want to label this top because The aerator.
Right, top,
is
bottom.
there.
I agree with that. I got the marker in my pocket. Label this top. T for top. Well, let's just do a B in case our T gets erased.
Put a T right here, would you please? So they match. Or down here, down. Oh, that don't matter. Yeah, this way, T to T. It's pretty.
All right.
This might be a few minutes, yeah.
All right, so we're down to the last bolt. We're gonna pull that cap off and see. Hopefully, some fluid comes out of there. See what's in up. There it comes, right there. Lot of yuck. Oh, look at that. Well, don't bang that out. Let's see if there's any debris in that, any signs of anything. Sort through that. Look at that. Pudding. Yum. I'm hoping that's where our problem's going to be. Then we don't have to drop this whole thing down. But we're going to sort through that and see if we can find anything, and then we'll be back. Alright, so after sifting through all this yuck in here, we found this chip, which looks like one of the teeth on that pinion there.
That is locked up.
Oh, it's going now. There's probably another piece of metal in there.
Oh wait, watch yourself.
Yeah, we did find this chip in there. So,
What is that one there?
that's not good news. Oh, that's it right there. That's the missing tooth right there. You can see the pinion there. The tooth is broken off, and there's the piece that goes to it. So, that's part of the problem.
Let's clean that.
Alright, we're going to clean that up. Alright, we're going to remove this side thing slowly. Look at that, we wasted all that time on that pinhole. Alright, hold that up, Pete, this way. Just so you guys know, don't waste an hour trying to beat that little pinhole out. That's what we did when this actually all slides right out. Alright, let's see what's in there.
Yeah, shine in it. Got a light.
Alright, hit it again there. So you're going to take a screwdriver and kind of hit it along this seam here. Like you see Pete doing there. You can see it's starting to separate.
Have one on either side. Just work it out.
Oh, there he goes. He's got it off. Voila! Let me see the inside of that. That's what your inside looks like. We're going to have to clean that up. And there is all of your gears. I don't see any teeth missing on here. So we're going to clean it up. We're trying to get that front pinion I showed you to slide up so we can get that lock nut screwed back on. And we had to remove the gearbox, as you just saw. So here we are, and this gear here, do you remember we had that gear shifter on the side here? Alright, that controls this here. So, there we go. See, it's supposed to go up and down there. That pinion in the front of the machine over there to come up, which would be this shaft here. So, we're going to have to start with, we got two bearings up here. You got the one on the bottom is bigger, one on the top is a little bit smaller. We're going to have to start with pulling this bearing and then pulling these gears up one by one to be able to raise that pinion up in the front. Just in case you forget, we need to raise this up here so that we can get to this lock nut here that came off. We'll start with taking this bearing off and see how this all works here to get that pinion up. We use this little tiny bearing puller here. Now this thing you can get at Napa. It's like 13 bucks. Basically what we did is it's going to slide underneath of that bearing, and this goes into the center there, and then you kind of crank the handle and pull the bearing up. The problem we had with this one was this puller was too short, so we ran out of threads at the top, and it only pulled the bearing 3/4 of the way up. So we took a pry bar and put it under the bearing and just kind of pried it the rest of the way off once we got it up there to the top. You can see that this has this little locking C-clip here. Each of these gears is probably going to have that, so we need to get this one off, then move to that one, and then down to this one, and that will allow us to slide that pinion up. Alright, you can pull it up now.
Alright, watch this. Can somebody take these two off?
Slide them right back on.
The only, right, yeah. The only issue
Slide
is,
them back on.
wait a minute, is there a flat? Here's where you messed up.
they notch.
Okay, that matches.
So in order to take off these gears here, you have to remove the bearing and take these gears off also to take these off.
This goes back up here.
Correct. Alright, when you take your gears off of here, it's a good idea to get yourself some type of puller shaft to slide them on in the exact order you took them off and just store it somewhere so that you know which way these go back on that shaft. To get this lock nut off of here, you're going to have a cotter pin right here. You're going to want to bend them two and just pull it out this side over here. Alright, we got the cotter pin out, so now you want to kind of spin this nut loose. It doesn't appear to be reverse thread. And lucky for us, it was already loose, so I don't even know what size socket that would be. But thread that out. And I'm thinking there's going to be one more lock washer. I'm thinking. For that pinion to slide up. There's a large bearing in there. There actually is, you can see, a lock ring in there. And the problem is getting a tool in between here and this spline to get that out. So we're going to try to spin this around to get the two keyholes over here so we can get a tool in to get that lock ring out. Alright, so after you get the bottom gear off of there, you're going to run into this nightmare of a C-clip, which took about 9.5 guys and 6 screwdrivers to get out. But it's out.
Did that do anything?
It's out, it's out, pinion's out. Alright, there's our pinion.
You have no threads on that shaft, so that will come out.
That's what we were trying to get out the whole
however
time.
we pull that shaft out, that should slide up then. At least this
Now you
should.
can see.
That's awful hard in there.
Alright, this is what the assembly looks like when it's out. Hold on, let me turn the camera around. That's the assembly. That's the bottom pinion, the bottom bearing, sleeve, and so that would look like that. Then this went down there. Then there was another bearing that went on top of that one. And as you can see, it's all out. Was not easy.